In the aftermath of Banner 18 still being celebrated throughout Boston, we still have some news about this Celtics squad as Al Horford is returning to this Celtics squad according to the owner, Wyc Grousbeck, on radio this morning. This is huge for the Boston Celtics as Al Horford just stamped himself as an NBA champion last night and is well deserving of winning that ring as he sacrificed so much to win it this year for the Celtics this season. We'll be diving in, looking at is this good for the Boston Celtics and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz. Before we dive in, before we get in all this news, if you guys are exciting, if you guys are still celebrating this Celtics championship, hit that like button down below. It would really appreciate it. Without further ado, though, let's dive into the topic at hand today. Make sure to grab a snack, and like I mentioned in the introduction, Al Horford is staying in Boston. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. After winning an NBA championship last night, breaking the streak of being the longest active NBA player with the most playoff wins to not win a championship, he has finally done it. The first Dominican Republic-born NBA player to bring that banner home, and he did it successfully. The Celtics honored him, let him touch the championship first, let him smile and get his moment in it. And it is so well deserving after a long 17-year career. Al Horford finally can lift that trophy. And he was promised that with Danny Ainge when Brad Stevens was the head coach when he came over to Boston in 2018. And now that promise has been fulfilled. Not with Danny Ainge in the front office, but with Brad Stevens in command and with Joe Mazzulla at the helm at the coaching staff. Like I mentioned, Al Horford has sacrificed so much in the NBA. Coming over to the Celtics in 2018 was a big-time player, big-time role player alongside Brown and Tatum being that third star. Ultimately went to Philly to chase the money, but came back after getting traded from Oklahoma City Thunder after not having the greatest season in Philly on a bounce back. Came over to the Celtics for Kemba Walker and proved why he wanted to be back here and proved that Boston is his home. But this is the news you guys want to hear. When we look at the Greg Hill show, we can see that Celtics owner Wyc Grousbeck confirms that Al Horford will be returning for the Celtics next season, which is the news that we need, and I mean need, to hear today. This is fantastic for Boston Celtics fans. Al Horford, the veteran, the guy who sacrificed so much for this championship. When Porziņģis and Holiday came in, they had that meeting. He said, I'll come off the bench. I know that I need to. But he stayed ready. He stayed going. He stayed focused and never let go. When guys like Porziņģis got hurt, he stepped up and filled that role regardless if it was getting 3 blocks, hitting 4 to 5 threes. What the Celtics needed, he delivered. In the playoffs, you need him when Kristaps Porziņģis goes down. Do not worry. And on the defensive side, you need him to come off switches, off pick and rolls. He is going to clamp up Luka Doncic, and he is going to clamp up Kyrie Irving like he did in the NBA Finals. Once again, veteran, guy who deserves everything, is finally getting the championship that he has deserved and longed for in his 17 years in his career. And no one deserves it more on this team than Al Horford, in my opinion. If you want to look at Al Horford's stats from this season, 8.6 points, 6.4 rebounds, 2.6 assists with 1 block and 0.6 steals per game, shooting around 51% from the field, 41% from 3, while he shoots 42% on corner threes, 100% of his threes are assisted on, and 61% of his threes are corner threes. Al Horford, a guy who, like I mentioned, stepped up, became that, role-playing veteran center. He could still be a starter in this league. There are a plethora of teams that would look at Al Horford and say, you can be my starting center, or you can be my starting power forward, and he would go there. They would give him $10 to $15 million, which he's making around right now, and he would be well worth it. Yes, he can't play on back-to-backs, but this man can be a surefire starter for you and a even better 6-man, and he did that on this Celtics squad. We want to kind of dive in, like I mentioned, looking at this tweet from S. Vandeler Bariani, excuse me if I mispronounce your last name, but Al Horford, an NBA champion, the longest active streak of playoff games without a championship, will end. As James Harden is now the active record holder at 166, and now the record will be for James Harden to beat. But if we want to look at the payroll and kind of discussing about this team, kind of breaking it down, that gets into the next part here and why we need this and why we need Al Horford to stay with this squad for the long term. Now, one, Obviously, if you guys do not know, Al Horford is now an NBA champion and a two-time collegiate champion, where he won back-to-back championships in college with Florida. That was obviously the before UConn doing it this year and last year, obviously the team that was prior to doing that. So ultimately, Al Horford has some legacy in college basketball, now has some legacy in the NBA. Now, when you look at this team, you could see Al Horford riding into the sunset. He got his championship. He did what he needs to do. He can just get up and get out of here. But ultimately, I don't think that that helps the Celtics as I think that hurts the Celtics much more than it helps them. If we want to look at the salary cap here, you guys can see we're obviously tied up to Jrue Holiday, obviously tied up to Kristaps Porziņģis. Those guys got extensions. Jaylen Brown got his extension last offseason, which he was hated on and told was not worth that $300 million. That was an absolute lie. Lies they told you. Lies. Next, talking about Jayson Tatum. He's going to be getting his contract extension this offseason. We all know that he's going to be well worth that money. We'll have some videos breaking that down. Derrick White's going to need his. But Al Horford, making around $10 million this year, will be making around $9 million. You could be like, all right, if he retires, Celtics save some money there, get a little bit more flexibility. It'd be a-okay. But that would not be the best case scenario for the Boston Celtics. You need Al Horford. You want Al Horford to stay for multiple reasons. And reason number one is for the fact that he is that veteran and he is that guy, but also for the fact that he could still play quality minutes. We've seen throughout the playoffs him start with Kristaps Porziņģis out in the NBA Finals. And even though they switched hanging out with, with the ability of the fact that, Al's tired, Al's legs did get tired, and they wanted to give Kristaps some run. Al Horford was slaughtered by the end of this playoffs. With Kristaps Porziņģis being out for Series 2 and Series 3, he had to play basically that entire series with the help, of Luke Kornet, Tillman, and Brissett along the way, but it was mainly down to Al Horford down low, again, on the offensive and defensive side. At 38 years old, 38 years old, 17 years in the league, this man is still doing everything that you ask him for. What more could you ask out of Al Horford? I have no idea. He does everything. He is well deserving of this championship. He can still be a starter in this league. We need him for the fact that he can still play quality minutes and he can still be impactful off the bench for the Celtics team in the playoffs next year. Two, this team is all under contract. Like we just showed right here, they're all under contract for next season, which goes to show you this team is still going to be competent and still going to be a top tier team. And even though some teams will look to work around the edges to try to beat us, I still think that in the Eastern Conference, we're still going to be a juggernaut and a top of the Eastern Conference, if not one of the top teams. Now, when you look at Al Horford, when looking at some other guys that we've brought up and talked about through the past this year, Xavier Tillman, a guy who's come in, the Celtics have his bird rights. I think keeping Al Horford is huge for that reason. We've mentioned that Xavier Tillman could be the replacement for Al Horford in the future, and I truly think that he kind of mimics his style of gameplay. Can shoot the corner three, very good on the defensive side of the pick and roll, a switchable big who can play the 4-3 through 5, and can guard some guards at some points as well. Ultimately, if his three-point shot can get as consistent as Al Horford's, it would be absolutely fantastic. And with the Celtics having Xavier Tillman's bird rights, and with that not affecting how the Celtics will go over the salary cap for the luxury tax in the second apron, I do believe that they'll keep Xavier Tillman locked up for the long term, sign him, and then he will be in the gym, in the corner with Al Horford, practicing all offseason, working on his three-point shot and just getting better. And that's what you have Al Horford there for. And then maybe throughout the season, Al's still going to get those minutes, but if Tillman rises and Tillman kind of grows, you can kind of switch Tillman out with Al Horford and having Al Horford kind of be in that, not Udonis Haslem at this point, but, kind of just coach and parent on the side of the bench that gets, maybe 8 to 10 minutes a night. But Xavier Tillman kind of takes over that role. Or maybe that's even in for the future for the Celtics to kind of build that up. But ultimately, my opinion, my goal, my kind of analysis of this thing is that Al Horford is staying, and that is good for 3 reasons. The Celtics need him, as he can still play quality minutes and can still be a quality NBA player. 2, he can train Xavier Tillman. He can get those, bigs like Neemias Queta, Luke Kornet some more time and some more, veteran leadership and can, gel with them. And 3, he can go to be back-to-back NBA champions in college and in NBA and could be, I think, the first one to do that in NBA history or in basketball history, which would just give him another stamp of approval and just only further his case to be a Hall of Fame candidate. Let me know what you guys think about Al Horford. Let me know about this whole situation. I'm absolutely psyched up that he is staying with this squad. Like I mentioned, we have everybody locked up. This team will be coming back, and this Celtics squad will be ready and hungry to be fighting for an NBA championship next season as well. But as you guys know, before we head out, we do have to get to the comment of the day. So drop down your thoughts, drop down your feelings down below in the comment section so we know how you guys react about this Al Horford news and this Boston Celtics championship. Comment of the day goes to Mike D, one of our loyal supporters on Celtics Digest here. Commented on our recent video reacting to the Celtics championship. If you missed that, check that out. We got his comment. He was the first one to comment saying, "How ecstatic are we, Bruce? I'm still talking blank. Still talking crap to everybody I know who said the Mavs were going to win. And oh, we're going crazy. If you guys don't know, we have the Discord down below. Join that Discord link down below. Come hang out with the Celtics fans. We're celebrating. We're having fun. We're all the news throughout the entire offseason will be talked. And once again, Mike, we are having a fantastic day. We went and got the merch last night at Dick's Sporting Goods, and now we're celebrating a good day today. Having a good day. The sun is out. It's a nice couple days in Boston. The weather is absolutely beautiful. 100 degrees. It's going to be scorching hot. And the parade is announced for Friday. I believe the parade is announced for Friday. Details are getting announced at the moment as I'm recording this video, so I'll let you guys know. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode here on Celtics Digest, where we broke down this Al Horford news. I'm Bruce Veliz. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out. Have a great rest of your day, and go Boston Celtics.